Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Baldr Sky. Dive 1. I just came back from the gym and I actually did not eat some food. Because today I woke up like super hungry. Yesterday I was eating like a lot for dinner. I was like ordering takeout, which is kind of unusual for me because I usually just eat, whatever's in the pantry, right, or on my fridge. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to order some takeout today or yesterday. And I ate basically like 3 meals for dinner. And I wasn't really hungry after I was finished, of course. I was basically stuffed. But when I woke up today, this morning, which is about 6 a.m., I'm like, oh my god, I'm so hungry. So the meal that I usually eat for dinner is what I eat for breakfast and basically my pre-workout meal. And that is way too much for like early breakfast for me. And I'm like, oh my god, even at the gym, even though I still had the energy to do everything I wanted, I could feel the food inside of me, inside of my stomach, like just flushing around, So yeah, interesting day today. But okay, let's actually talk about the last episode recap, shall we? So in the last episode, we finished off Chapter 4, which is Ground Zero. We talked more with Rain after we finished up, the confrontation with Shizzle. Yes, I do remember her name because that the last episode was just yesterday. And we decided to go to our aunt in the Arc Industries. She is like basically this high-ranking person who also controls... I don't know whether or not she is the one that controls the AI. For all I know, the AI is autonomous, right? But there's this AI called Eve, which is basically the second mother. I believe everything that mother knows is inside of Eve. So yeah, basically a second mother, right? And yeah, in that place we also saw... or not in that place, but in the Arc Industries, there's a virtual space. I forgot what it's called. Something City. R something City? But it's a recreation of, well, at least there's some recreation of the world that we know before our memories disappeared, which is in our school days, right? And we also met up with Aki again. She told us that Nanoha and also Masa are fine, but she did not want to answer what happened to Makoto and Sora. And she also was a bit, a bit, what's the word I'm looking for here? A bit evasive when we talked about Ku. Well, she wasn't really evasive, but I think she just said that, Ku was not really operational anymore. And yeah, before that, we also found out about this cult called... What was the cult called? I forgot the name, but the leader was this guy called Father Gregory, right? And supposedly he was reborn or whatever, and he's been growing his cult in size. He was also corrupting, of course, or, into corruption, into bribery. And that was the reason why he was able to get the cult to where it is. As I said, I do think that Father Gregory must have been rich, because there's no way the cult would... normally cults aren't really all that popular. There's got to be a way for them to, like, spread their influence, right? And it's definitely, at the very beginning, it's definitely from money. At least that's how I see it when it comes to cults and whatnot. But yeah, we also know about the fact that Ku is an AI. The reason why we did not really know that she's an AI is because usually AIs are very stiff and she's very predictable, Well, not Ku, not Ku. She's not predictable, but AI's patterns are predictable. When they don't understand, they don't really say that, they're gonna be able to wing the current situation, right? Just like what we saw with the basically mass-produced Ku. When they don't understand what's going on, they don't have their own thought process. They just default to needing more information so that they can answer our question. But yeah, this is exactly after we met up with Aki, I believe, and we were sleeping in that virtual space, but we are back in the flashback. In the last episode, I actually did like the flashback because it was mostly about Ku, and it was, you know, there's no filler about simulacrums, there's no filler about everyone else. It was basically a perfect flashback in my opinion. We were talking about Ku and, you know, well, we weren't really talking about Ku, but we were talking about AIs and whatnot, and it instantly went to Ku, so I kind of like that. But yeah, we'll see whether or not this flashback right here is gonna be filler. Oh, God damn it. I swear to goodness, this stupid, controller always does that. That's the first text advancement. As I said, on every episode, every text advancement is always like a double click for some reason. Oh yeah, we also talked with Rain a tiny bit. I forgot about that. But yeah, she was kind of talking about how we could have, or we can right now actually, we can start over our life because we don't really have memories about what's going on. But of course, who wants to do that, right? Of course, you'd want to understand why you were doing, the reasons why you were doing, you know, what you did, right? If I was like an amnesiac and I did not really do anything, you know, I feel like I want my new person or my new soul to do whatever the fuck they want. But if I was an amnesiac and before I was an amnesiac, I had something that I really wanted to do, of course, I feel like if I was that new person, I would also try to understand what's going on in my old mindset, right? So I feel like this is very understandable, the reason what Ko is doing right here. Because I did say before, if I was an amnesiac, I feel like I don't really care about what the other person should do. They should just do whatever the fuck they want, right? Because at that point, that's not really me anymore. But yeah. Nanoha smiles gently and takes the shopping bags off my hands. Bathed in twilight, she looks a lot more mature than before. A reserved voice. I turn to see where it's coming from and find a petite girl standing there, looking somewhat apologetic. She struggles to speak with her frail voice before settling for a big bow. She was already taken away by Sora, so we haven't really seen Sora, but she's not really living in our dorm anymore. She bows once again. How does she know that Sora, or not Sora, but Ku was an AI though? Maybe because the fact that Sora was acting a lot, you know, the original Sora acts a lot differently. I mean, she did know the model she's based on. But interesting, why did she not, I guess not like, you know, what's the word? Like, how illegal is it to just like recreate someone in a virtual space, you know, is what I'm trying to say. Why did she just take it in stride and not very angry about the fact that someone took her avatar or her sister's avatar? We all talked about it and decided to invite her to this party. I'm really glad she accepted. I'm guessing maybe Aki actually knows Sora and she was okay with being the avatar model, but I guess we'll see. There's gotta be a reason for it, right? She keeps bowing for no reason. She must be really nervous. Nanoha's smile must have calmed her down some, because she finally smiles. I feel like Japanese sometimes with the whole keigo thing, with the whole, you know, sometimes you got like formal speech and then non-formal speech. Languages with those type of things are really like what's the word? Really confusing, right? I feel like I don't know whether or not this is just me from an outsider's perspective, but is it really something that we need a formal speech and then a non-formal speech? Isn't it like easier for us just to have like normal speech, you know? And if you want to address a superior, you can always do it just like in English, like with sir or something, right? It's a lot easier. In Japan, it's actually a lot more difficult since you have to change like the sentence structure. You have to have like des, which is a lot more formal.
じゃあ先に入ってるね。
Nanoha runs off inside, satisfied with making Makoto smile.
じゃあ俺たちも。
I try to walk through the front door, but my sleeve gets caught in something. Turns out Makoto's grabbed onto it.
どうしたの？いいよ、無理に話さなくても。なんなら後でネットで会えばいいしね。
Looks like she still has something to say. She starts bowing so deeply that her upper and lower body form a right angle.
前にも謝ってくれたじゃないか。もういいって、本当に気にしないで。
To be honest, I'm not completely over being slapped out of nowhere for no reason. Okay, so we know that she slapped us now. But I can't stay mad when I see how bad Makoto feels about it.
全く気にしてないよ、本当に。
That finally makes her raise her head.
きっと君の姉さんは君が泣いているのを見て誤解したんだろ。
I don't like that you're the one apologizing, Makoto. You didn't really do anything wrong. The one who did wrong was your sister. I know that she's just being kind and, you know, apologizing in her stead, but there's really nothing for her to apologize for. The apology should come from her sister. And if she actually haven't apologized to us yet, I feel like I'm one of those guys who probably wouldn't want to associate myself with them.
でも妹思いのいい姉さんじゃないか。大変なんだ。
She makes a troubled face and blushes. It's the most natural expression I've seen her make. I really want to ask her to explain the disaster thing though. A girl's panicked yells ring out in the air.
なんだ？
I eventually spot a girl staggering toward the dorm with a ton of stuff in her arms. Makoto bows to me again before rushing to her sister's side. Makoto's sister dumps her stuff and runs toward her. The sight of her long hair and slender silhouette, while with the sun setting behind her, gets etched into my eyes. Yeah, I'm guessing she actually hasn't apologized to us, even though Makoto told us about this sister of hers. Says the older sister who got lost as she embraces Makoto tight. The two of them start picking up the stuff strewn about on the ground. I know they're trying to make this into a big reveal, the fact that Sora's face is basically cool, but come on, they really should just give us a CG. It's so awkward that they've actually been talking like for so long and yet we're seeing like just the background here. With a cheerful smile, she turns to face me. I wasn't seeing things. She looks unbelievably beautiful with the sunset behind her. And my chest is about to explode out of shock and an indescribable feeling. Because the girl standing right in front of me looks exactly like Ku. What? That's the end of NPC? Oh my god, that was such a short chapter. That was very short, man. The chapters in this game is very you know, they're very uneven. Is that the word I'm looking for? There's got to be another word for it that's better. But the length of the chapters are so different from each other. It's crazy.
君どうしてここにいるの？
She suddenly asks me with a scowl.
え？
なんでこんなところまでマコちゃんを追いかけてきたのかって聞いてるの？
She glares at me with a hand on her hip. I have no idea what she's talking about.
ちょっと何か言いなさいよ。お姉ちゃんダメ。マコちゃんは下がってて。大丈夫。お姉ちゃんがこのストーカーと話をつけてあげるから。
ちょっと待って。一体誰がストーカーなんだって？
とぼけないで。学園で私の可愛い妹をいじめて泣かせて、今度はこんなところで待ち伏せしてたんでしょ？
Oh, so that's it. Looks like she still has the wrong idea about me.
ほら、反論できないじゃない。やっと正体を認める気になった。
I feel like this is also Makoto's fault though. Like, when they were together, she should have actually explained what's going on. The fact that she was apologizing for her stead instead of explaining what happened in the first place, I feel like her priorities were, you know, in the wrong place.
あのな、君はとんでもない誤解をしているぞ。
あ、今度はしらばっくれるつもりなの？
This girl. I didn't know how to react when I realized she looked just like Ku, but their personalities are nothing alike.
いいか、俺はこの寮の住人で。
嘘を言ってもダメ。私、前もこの寮の皆さんにはちゃんとご挨拶しているんだからね。
俺は挨拶されてないけどな。
それはあなたがここの寮の人じゃないから。この寮にはあなたみたいないやらしいスケベ面の見るからに変態っぽい人なんかいなかったんだから。どうしたの、まこちゃん？違うの。違うって。まこちゃんなんで謝ってるの？無理だ。もう先輩隠してる。嘘。だってこの前来た時こんな人は。ごめんなさ
い。分かってくれたか。
Nanoha and Masa came outside when they heard her yelling and finally proved my innocence.
そういえば前に彼女が来た時はこうは寝てて挨拶できなかったんだよな。
I'm really not sure about how to feel about the fact that, you know, Ku is based on this girl. There's gotta be a reason I know, but why? Why this girl?
まあ誤解しても仕方がないよな。俺はいやらしいスケベ面で見るからに変態っぽいからな。
ごめんなさい、本当に。
She bows to me like she wants the ground to open up beneath her.
もういいよ。誤解が解けたらそれでいいさ。
そうそう。こうは終わったことをいつまでもうじうじ根に持ったりしないもんね。まこちゃん、なんで門倉さんが助けてくれたって教えてくれないの？
まあ今日はめでたい日なんだし、ほらお姉さんももう頭を上げたな。
ごめんなさい。私本当におっちょこちょいで。
You know, why isn't Makoto doing the chant thing that we did on the previous episode with Rain? It's basically telepathy, right? Is that... Are we not advanced yet in this current year in this flashback? I don't think so, right? It should be a feature that's available to us right now, too.
本当にもういいってば。さ、続きは中で話そうよ。
I put on a smile and pat her on the shoulder. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Sometimes when I feel like they're teaching me something new, I feel like there are some inconsistencies about what's going on in this game. Like, chanting doesn't really mean that you're speaking, right? You're basically like, you know, you're thinking what you want to say to the other person, and then you're basically chatting them, right? So why doesn't she just do that? Or, you know, maybe if she's uncomfortable with doing that too, she can just hop in online and we can just talk online for a bit too. Or not even talk online, but, you know, we're able to listen to her inner voice. Well, then again, not everyone can listen to her inner voice.
ありがとう。門倉さん。
She replies with an apologetic smile. But man, putting personality aside, they really do look alike. No, it's not just that. You couldn't tell them apart if you went by appearances alone. I end up stealing frequent glances at her. And as I watch, she heads towards the front door. And walks right into it face first.
おいおい、大丈夫？
まこちゃん、この扉壊れてるよ。お姉ちゃん、扉手動式。
The girl takes Makoto's hand and gets back to her feet. She's been here before. What's going on? Tears are welling in her eyes, and the tip of her nose has turned bright red. The moment I saw that, I was overcome by a laughing fit.
ダメだよ、こう笑ったりなんかしちゃう。
ごめん、ついつい。
She pouts at me and reaches for the door.
何の騒ぎ？ああ！
The door suddenly opens and Aki sticks her head out with a puzzled look. If Aki doesn't know that this is the model that Ku is based on, then I feel like there's something wrong. There's no way that she would, you know, randomly just put up a model that has an actual person on them, right? I feel like that's impossible. That'd be weird if she actually doesn't even know Sora here. The girl's outstretched hand grabs nothing but air, making her lose balance and fall to the ground. When she does, her skirt flips up, revealing her striped panties, butt and thighs.
お姉ちゃん。
Makoto tries to rush to her sister's aid, but she runs into me instead. I lose my balance as well. The stripes draw closer to my eyes in slow motion. Oh, what? Oh, that was actually something else. And my face lands in a pair of cloth-covered mounds. Alright. Very typical anime, you know, meeting. No CG for that? I'm surprised. After carrying the stuff inside and sorting things out, Makoto's sister and I step outside. Now that things have calmed down, we can finally have a conversation.
ごめんね。この前は事情もわからず叩いたりして。
Okay, let bygones be bygones. You did apologize after all.
いいよ。誤解が解けて幸いだった。
それだけじゃなくて、つい私思いっきり蹴りつけちゃったりして。
まあ、潰れなくて幸いだった。俺も君のスカートに顔突っ込んじゃったわけだし。
I don't think that's my fault though. She was the one that fell on me.
あ、あれは事故だから、その。
Her face turns as red as the setting sun. She's not entirely without her issues, but she doesn't seem to be a bad person.
でも、誠ちゃんも俺のことを説明してなかったのかな。
それはその、全くもって私が聞いてなかっただけみたいで。
Okay. Thank you, Makoto. I retract my statement about you before. I imagine a girl trying to clear things up while her sister refuses to listen and promises her she'll take care of the bully. I wonder why I can picture that so clearly when I only just met her today.
とにかく、本当にごめんなさい。
何度も謝らなくていいってば。俺はもう気にしていないからさ。
君が良くても、私が気になるよ。
Saying that, she takes a quick look around. I mean, I'm not really the type of person that trusts other people's personality just based on first impressions. So, even though I kind of understand how Ko could imagine that, I refuse to actually think that my first impressions are, you know, are able to mimic that exact scene.
今ならいいよ。
あ？
だから一発だけ叩いていいよ。 それでおあいこ。叩きっぱなしじゃ私の気も済まないし。
Alright, wow, she's actually very accommodating. I'd actually probably do so.
あのな、女の子の方なんか叩けるかよ。
あ、男女差別は良くない。それに目には歯を、歯には目をだよ。
Yeah, I do agree.
それ言葉も意味合いも違うと思うんだけど。
What did she say? An eye for a tooth for an eye? That idiot.
いいから一思いにやっちゃって。さあ、もう覚悟は決めてきたんだから。
She closes her eyes tight without bothering to wait for my response.
叩けって困ったな。
My eyes wander to her plump cheeks. They look nice and soft. Maybe I should give her a kiss instead of slapping her. She might not get mad at me right now.
もうにキスなんかしたら、今度はグーで殴るからね。
How are you? How are you reading my mind?
するか。
Damn, she's perceptive. You wouldn't expect that given her usual airheadedness. This doesn't really sit right with me, but fine. I'll grant her request.
仕方がないな。言い出したのはそっちだから覚悟しろよ。
I clench my fist and start swinging my arm around.
ちょっと、まさかグーなわけ？
目には歯を、歯には目をなんだろ。
I mean, considering Ko's personality, I don't think he's gonna do it very, very hard. I take a big wind up.
行くぞ。
She closes her eyes even tighter. I gently lower my arm and ding her on the forehead.
いた。
She yelps in surprise.
これでおあいこだな。
She lets out a big sigh and sinks to the ground.
おいおい、大丈夫か。
だって男の子にパンチされるのなんて初めてだもん。はあ、もう死んじゃうかと思ったよ。
I mean,
ごめん、やりすぎた。
I'm amazed she didn't run when she was that scared. Maybe she has a lot more guts or, well, bona fides than the average person. Bona fides? What is that anyway?
立てるか。
ごめん、そういえばまだ自己紹介もしていなかったんだよね。
She takes the hand I offer her with a shy smile. Her hand is tiny and soft, and her smile really is exactly like Ku's.
私の名前はソラ、水無月ソラって言うんだよ。せっかくのお肉を千切りにしちゃうんですか？
Shredding? Is it after it's cooked? Is it after, like, it's being, pressure cooked?
この方がお肉に味が染み込むし。
Or is it like when it's raw?
ちょっと細く切りすぎちゃったかもだけど。こんなに細かく切るなんて器用ですね、先輩。ここは一つ中華にメニューを切り替えて。
What? She's actually doing that before it's cooked? That's weird. I thought they were, like, doing something like pulled pork.
それいいアイデア。さすがなっちゃんナイスフォロー。どうも。なっちゃんって私のことでしょうか？ナッパちゃんの方がいいかな。はーちゃん、なのと可愛い子には可愛いニックネームをつけないと。どうもありがとう。先輩、それ砂糖じゃなくてお塩。わかってるってば。これは隠し味。全然隠れてないよ。
Why is she even here?
はいだな、あの空って子。
脳内物質、きっと分泌型。今のうちに私ジュース買ってくるよ。マサもお願い。
I mean, I wouldn't be so sure about that. I mean, I guess Makoto can probably tell us whether or not she's kind of hiding her true personality, but I feel like the more hyper someone is, the more they're actually trying a bit too hard sometimes, Like, you guys also understand, right? When you guys, like, watch a YouTube video or whatever, sometimes people are way more hyper than they usually are. To basically... yeah, sometimes people like being hyped up.
はいはい、千夏女王様。
Chinatsu gets tired of waiting and leaves, taking Masa with her.
楽しそう。だけどお腹すいた。
And beside me is a girl who's grown even more tired of waiting.
二人とも頑張ってるからもう少し待ってあげて。
頑張る。手伝う。私。
Makoto stands up and heads for the kitchen. I guess she figured she had to do something.
お姉ちゃん、私やる。いいから休んでいて。まこちゃんもなっちゃんも祝われる立場なんだから。
It's for you two? For Makoto and who?
歓迎してくれた寮の皆さんのためにも、大事なところを蹴っ飛ばしちゃったこうくんのためにも、お願い、私にフォローのチャンスをちょうだい。ダメ、お姉ちゃん。貴重なお肉が、美味しいおナスが。ごめんなさい、なのちゃん。いいよ、まことちゃん。そんなに気を使わないでね。
Sora's not a bad person. She's all cheery and it's clear that she's doing her best. It's just she seems really oblivious to everything. Geez, talk about contrasting sisters.
眠いのに空腹が邪魔。
That's a new sprite
なのに空
pose.
腹でさらに眠い。
Alright, nearly forgot.
ねえ、アキネ、聞きたいことが。
質問は食べてからに。
なあ、どうしてなんだ？クーとあの空って子、全く同じ顔してるんだけど。
企業秘密。
そんなこと言わないで。誰にも何も言わないから。
ごめん。ご飯できたら起こして寝る。
It can't be that Sora's not real, right? She's gotta be real. I mean, she's with Makoto all this time. If Sora's not real, Makoto's also not real. And what, they're both AI? That can't be right. But I guess we'll see. This is very confusing right now.
あ、ちょっと待って、アキネ。
I'm thinking about how possible it is for an AI to also develop cyber brain syndrome. That's weird. My attempt to stop her is in vain as Aki escapes into dreamland. But yeah, they kinda are taking too long. They started cooking ages ago. Oh, I bit my tongue. I can't just sit around and wait forever. Oh yeah, I could go see Ku. There's something I'd like to ask her too. Though it's highly unlikely that she'll have an answer for me. I close my eyes and dive into the internet.
おーい、いるかい？
いる。
She waves and runs toward me, like she was waiting for me. I started thinking about... Calm down! I wasn't done reading the narration. I started thinking about how she's almost like a pup. And the very next moment, she kicks the ground. Jumps into my arms and hugs me tight.
おい、
ハグ。
ハグって、そんなことどこで覚えてきたの？
Looking absolutely delighted, she rubs cheeks with me. Virtual NPC or not, it still feels soft and warm. I'm happy and it feels good, but it's still embarrassing. Even with a closer look, she really does resemble Sora Minazuki. No, she looks the same. Though she wouldn't get all clingy with me, obviously.
あの子とこんなことしたら、グーで殴られちゃいそうだよな。
I pull myself away from her as casually as possible. She's giving me a big, pure smile as always. When I met Sora, it felt like a girl from my dreams had materialized in reality. But this is really weird.
ねえ、君は水月空って女の子を知ってるかい？
ソラ。ミランヌキソラ。
I can't tell if that's a yes or a no, but I can't imagine the two having nothing to do with each other. Aki refused to tell me, but it'd be normal to assume Ku's a copy of Sora. Sure, Sora's no celebrity, so it is kind of weird to make an NPC based on her. But why keep that from me? Is there some other reason she can't tell me? An innocent smile. Well, I guess I really can't expect an answer from her. After talking to her for a while, I say goodbye and leave. Logging off feels somewhat similar to waking up from a dream. Feels kind of sad that we just spend, like such a short time with her. Like, I get that we're there only to kind of, what's the word? Make sure the fact that she doesn't know Sora, but, I feel like when you're just, what's the word I'm looking for here? If you're clearly just doing something and after that you're done with your errands or whatever and you don't do anything else with the other person, it feels a bit maybe rude, I guess. Even though she's not really a person, she's an AI, but even then I still feel like it's a bit rude. You shift from the virtual to the real world and remember that you have a real body. It makes you feel kind of sad, like you're leaving your home behind. The weight of the world falls on my belly. The pain makes me cough and open my eyes in panic. All I can see is the lovely smile right in front of me. Turns out Ku's sitting on my stomach. What is she doing? I'm not online. This is the real world. Which means this isn't Ku, but Sora Minazuki. Almost at a reflex, I shiver aside and get to my feet. What are you doing? Once I yell out, I notice a dull, throbbing pain in my abdomen. I see a blanket lying on the floor. I look to the side where Aki was sleeping and see her covered in a blanket too. Oh. She was trying to blanket me? But why is she sitting on my abdomen? That's weird. Oh. Really? So that was the scream I heard just as I logged out. The pain becomes too much to take and I fall to the floor on my backside. This feels like way too anime, the interactions between Ko and Sora. It kind of makes me feel like it's not really a realistic. Like a bit of a forced interaction between the two. My question gets answered immediately when I hear Nanoha and Makoto's voices coming from the kitchen. Actually, know that word, Daidokoro is the kitchen. She glares at and tries to intimidate me by bringing her face closer to mine. She really does look just like Ku. Her lips are the same glossy pink too. If I kiss the two of them, would it feel the same? I mean, yeah, would people normally just think about kissing other people like that? Wouldn't you just think normally as in touch her hand or something? For such an airhead, she really is perceptive. Why not ask directly from the source? Do you know about an artificial intelligence that's on Aki's private space? Since Aki's not gonna tell us, why not ask, the actual person?
なんだったっけ。なんだか何を言いたかったのか忘れちゃった。
She gives me a puzzled look. I take it all back. She really is just an airhead.
なんだよ。
狙いはマコちゃんな
は？なんでそうなるんだ。
の。いいから正直に言いなさいよ。あなたの人柄次第ではお付き合いを許してもやっぱりダメ。シミクラム線が趣味の男の子なんてマコちゃんには刺激が強すぎるもん。
How do you know that? She's not taking her eyes off my face.
どうしてそのことを知っているんだ。
今エージェントが教えてくれたの。言ってみれば AI のお告げかしら。
Your agent program? What is that?
セカンドの特権だな。
I guess she searched me up online, and that was the recent activity that I was doing?
あなたと同じで私も24時間 AI とつながっている。
As she spoke those words, her expression made it seem like she held great pride in being friends with the AI.
コウさん。
Maybe that AI is cool. I don't know, we'll see. I open my eyes at the sound of her voice. I'm lying on the grass and I can feel blood in my nostrils. I pick myself up with a yawn and see the town around me.
大丈夫ですか、コウさん。
Wait, I thought we were in bed.
レイン。
This is Arvol City. Okay, there we go. Arvol City. Rain and I had woken up early for some hand-to-hand combat lessons. Alright, forgot about that. I guess we were resting after the close quarters combat thing.
失礼しました。つい手元が狂ってしまいまして。
Oh no, actually maybe I passed out. She apologizes and hands me some tissues. Her blow had caught me square in the center of my face. My nose hurts.
気にするな。これが実践ならもう目覚められなかったわけだよ。
I try to act all boss-like, but I think I'm failing miserably here. I mean, I'm sitting here wiping off my nosebleed.
とりあえず格闘訓練はここまでにしておきましょうか。
She bends over and stuffs the tissues up my nose. The touch of her cold, slender fingers is gentle. We're so close, I can smell the sweat on her body.
コウさん、顔を動かさないでください。
ああ。しかしレインは強いな。まるで叶わない気がするよ俺。
コウさんは決して弱くありませんよ。ただ戦う術を忘れてしまっているだけで。ただ一つ気をつけないといけないことがあります。
なんだいそれは。
Sorry about that. I may remember that eventually too, but it sounds like something I should know right now.
そうですね。ではお教えしますのでシミクラム戦の準備をしてください。
ありがとう。そうこなくっちゃ。で、肉体戦闘にシュミクラムが関係してくるのか？
今は脳髄までネットが延長されている時代ですから。
Okay? What is she talking about? Does she mean I can train my body by practicing how to pilot? I've heard of the opposite, but this is a new one. Well, whatever. It's not like I don't want to train for simulacrum battles either.
とりあえず場所を変えましょう。アーバルシティ内ではシュミクラムへのシフトが禁止されていますので。
Ban, but does that mean that we can bypass it?
じゃあ飛び先はアリーナでいいのかい？
いえ、一旦アークを離脱しましょう。今日は特別なレッスンをしますから。
Mind hack. What is this, VLR? Sorry, Zero Time Dilemma? When we log out and leave ARC's HQ, we're greeted by the city's polluted air.
ちゃんとリアルボディを保管してくれていたんだな。
I think we spent quite some time online after being forced to dive back there.
不思議な感覚ですよね。まるでアーク本社から異次元に行っていたような気分です。
So when we sleep online, technically I guess our bodies are asleep too. But it's so weird. She stretches as she says that. I do the same and take a deep breath. Unlike the air in ARC, the real world's air reeks.
で、特別なレッスンって一体何をしてくれるんだい？
それは後のお楽しみですよ。
We reached the love hotel we stayed in a few days ago.
こんなところで訓練をするのか？
ええ、なるべくなら邪魔の入らない場所で行いたいので。
As I said though, couldn't we just kill people if we destroy their physical body? Even if they dive? I wonder why there hasn't been people that have done that yet. Or maybe there has been stuff like that, but we haven't really seen it being done. Because that's the first thing in my mind, guys. If people were like diving in online world, like why not just destroy their physical bodies? You know?
邪魔の入らない場所で特別なレッスンって
Okay. Must be training in a special environment? What is this? This choice feels like it doesn't really... Is it gonna lead me to having sex with her if I choose the first one? Maybe later in the future? My imagination runs wild and I start having dirty thoughts. Or maybe I'm just gonna fantasize. My first time with an older woman taking the lead. I start fantasizing about what lesson she's gonna give me.
注意
Looks like my thoughts were showing on my stupid face. Rain gives me a cold stare.
あのですね訓練の時だけは気持ちを切り替えてくださいとあれほど
Has the training started yet though?
もちろんだ今の俺に雑念などみじんも
表を走って頭を冷やしてきてください
いやマラソンなら朝たっぷりと
駆け足急いで
You can't be running marathons. A marathon, like the fastest person that can actually do marathon ran in like what, 3 hours, 4 hours? You can't be doing marathons. You'll probably just be doing one, even if you are like pretty damn fast. The average people probably have like a 4 hour or 5 hour for a marathon to finish. To finish a marathon, I mean. At least people who are actively fit, of course. Actively exercising. Rain smacks me on the ass and drives me out of the hotel. Like a person who doesn't like train and they have to do a marathon, it's probably going to be upwards of 6+ hours. A marathon, for people that don't know, is 42 kilometers. I don't know how many miles that is for people in the US. We run a few blocks before coming back.
これで少しは落ち着きましたか
She smiles at me, covered in sweat. That's a pretty damn sexy look for her. Man, enough's enough.
オッケー準備は万全だそのレッスンとやらを始めてくれ
いや
She clears her throat and goes into serious mode.
コウさんはアクセスポイントという概念を覚えていらっしゃいますか
Is it just like access points on a Wi-Fi?
ああ一応は覚えているけれど
We second gens are always connected to the internet, even without needing to dive. If you look at it from the cyberspace POV, an individual's brain chip is an internet-enabled device with an always-open data portal. Yes, a SIM card, I know. We call those portals access points. As one might expect, they're guarded by several layers of encryption. In normal VRs, one wouldn't even be able to find them.
そのアクセスポイントが大きなウィークポイントになる場合があります
ウィークポイントってこの脆弱性をつく攻撃が存在するってことか
はいアクセスポイント経由で直に個人の脳チップをハッキングするそれをマインドハックと呼びます
Okay.
脳チップをハッキングそれがさっき言っていた気をつけること
はいこちらが使えば強力な武器ですが敵に使われたら恐るべき攻撃になります
But that means that people need to physically get into our brain, right? Or not get into our brain, but, you know, be able at least to touch our physical bodies. As far as I know, this stuff only existed in fiction back in my school days.
隠蔽されているアクセスポイントを解析できれば可能です無論そのためには高度な専門知識と技術が必要ですが通常脳チップに干渉が行われた時点で安全装置が接続を遮断遮蔽モードに移行しハッキングから身を守る仕組みになっていますしかしそんなセキュリティをかいくぐるものが今の時代時折存在するのです
I mean, I guess this is kind of like when you're trying to, you know, like jailbreak a phone or or like a switch or something, right? That's probably the best way I can think about it as.
大昔原始的なネット空間が成立した時同様の問題が発生したそうです
Propped up all the way back when the original internet was developed. Yeah, it's kind of like when you if you want to like hack a switch, you gotta abuse like the safe mode in that game. There's like a developer save mode thing that you have to put in a jig or something.
家庭や企業のコンピューターが無防備なままネットに接続され、ハッキングやウイルスの標的にされたそうです。
I believe nowadays you actually just open up the back panel though and you solder something into the motherboard to actually just easily play like a hack switch. But back then it used to be like a soft jailbreak, right? So you gotta do it manually from like the software side.
それが今やネットに接続された脳みそがハックの標的になっているわけか。
Okay, I gotta listen back to what they sing here. Similar problem cropped up all the way back when the original internet was developed. Home and office computers connected to it without any security in place and became the target of hacks and viruses. Connected to what? They're connected to like a Wi-Fi that's unprotected? I mean, I can kind of understand that because there was like a video on YouTube before about how, like, if you have like a Windows XP or a Windows, like an old ass Windows basically before that doesn't have really any more updates about their protection. Like, it's very easy to bypass like the security, and it's probably gonna be infected with malware and everything very easily. Because it's very vulnerable, right? There's lots of things that it can't just protect itself from anymore.
幸い、この脆弱性をつけるものは多くありません。本人の能力や機密扱いのツールが必要な上、仕掛けるにはノーチップの相性が問題のようで。
I guess, yeah, they're basically saying home and offices, when they're connected to the internet without any security, they're basically vulnerable.
しかし出会ってしまった時はどうすればいいんだ？脳をハックされたんじゃ守る手段なんか取れないし、それに俺たちセカンドは24時間ネットから攻撃される可能性があるってことじゃないのか？
盾と矛ですね。セキュリティを突破しようとする者がいれば、それだけセキュリティも強固になります。ですからそんなに心配することはないんですよ。
So what? We can firmware update our brain chip?
強固なセキュリティ？
ええ、それが今日のレッスンです。
Rain's eyes suddenly lose focus. Is she accessing the internet?
ノーチップへの不正アクセス探知。インターセプトモードを起動しますか？
No, she's trying to intercept us. Or sorry, not intercept, but she's trying to mind hack us. An alarm rings out in my head.
なんだ？
I don't really get what's going on, but I feel like I should do something at once.
インターセプトモード起動。
When I yell that out, my body is overcome by the familiar sensation of diving. Oh, it's gonna be a simulacrum battle when you do this? Crush Repair. Recovers health upon defeating an enemy proportional to their strength. That's actually pretty good if I get into a difficult battle. Displays the amount of damage dealt per hit. Damage count. Hidden damage correlation. New tutorials. Uppercut can be developed. Jumping knee. Chaff. That's a lot of heat. Let's take a look at the development real quick. I feel like so far we don't really even need to do anything with this game, you know? I feel like it's pretty easy that we don't even need to develop anything. Body blow usage, spin kick, low kick, jumping knee. This one needs 300. Beam sword. Wire drag. Dual submachine guns. I mean, I don't even have a lot of like force. I have like 75. That's very... Masa pseudo. This is Masa. But yeah, that's the basic combo that I usually do. I don't think we really need any plugins. I'll do the tutorial and then we're probably gonna just do the next story part. But yeah, I kind of already know that whenever a unit attacks, their heat gauge builds up. But damage, or depending on how big the damage that we do, the heat also corresponds to it. As a unit's heat gauge rises, so does the damage it receives. If the enemy's heat gauge is at 0, they only take this much damage. Oh, that's what they're talking about. So if their heat gauge is way higher, they're going to take more damage. Interesting. If you hit them when their heat gauges build up significantly, however... What? That actually deals less. The amount of damage they receive is significant. Oh, no. Okay. The bar is actually showing the previous one. Is significantly higher, as you can clearly see. Pay attention to the enemy's heat gauge and find the ideal time to strike. Of course, this also applies to yourself. It is entirely possible to pull off a combo only for the enemy to take advantage of the heat build up from it. Take care to avoid situations like that. Alright. Let's save and let's do this. Wait, dive? Isn't it like a simulacrum battle? Usually it's next, not dive. But I guess we're diving instead of our own brains? What if we don't have a simulacrum though? Does that mean that we're just gonna get instantly mind-hacked? The familiar set of the ether with its shining grid. The only unfamiliar thing about it is that the grid above has caved upward, with no end in sight.
インターセプトモードの起動についてご存知だったんですか、コース。
いや、
Oh, sorry about
なん
that.
かやばいと思って気がついたら勝手に口走ってたよ。
I mean, there was a warning.
復習させてほしいな。
インターセプトモードを起動すれば即座にこの場所にダイブすることができます。頭上の円錐が見えますか。あれがコウさんのアクセスポイント。ネットと脳をつなぐ心の扉です。
つまりここで侵入者を撃退し自分の脳チップを死守しろってことか。
さすがコウさん、理解が早いです。
いつもの機体じゃないんだな、レイン。
ええ、今回は私がコウさんの相手をしますので、演習とはいえ普段の私のサポート機体のものでは意味がありませんから。
True.
ハッキングを仕掛ける仮想敵の役目をレインがやってみせてくれるわけだ。
ええ、そうです。さて、せっかくですから実際に注意の脳チップにアクセスを試みてみましょうか。
おいおい、冗談だろ。
She told me this is just practice, but I still get nervous.
私なら戦闘を継続しながらでもものの数分で注意の脳チップのアイスを解除することができますよ。
What is ice?
ならそうなる前にきっちり蹴りをつけてやるさ。
I really do wish this game has a built-in encyclopedia, guys.
いきますよ。オープンコンバット。
はっへい。はっへい。振り裂け。
Damn, she's actually pretty tanky. Oh, ow. She's tanky. Ow. Yo, that's not fair. Okay. Ouch. Damn, she's pretty beefy. She's kind of long range though, for sure. Man, I'm not doing damage to her. What the hell? Why is she like blowing herself up? What's going on? Wait, what the? Is she dead? Oh, okay. I was wondering why I wasn't hitting her. She had like 2 bars of health, I think. Plug in, main menu option, track name, obtain. Track name? Do I need this? No.
参りました。注意。
Rain surrenders with a groan, finally bringing me back to my senses. This is training and I just beat her.
大丈夫か、レイン。
どうやら手加減の必要はなかったようですね。
Rain gives me a smile even though she just lost. I might need that extra bar of health. She was actually doing some work with me because I tried to go away from her whenever my bar was red, my heat gauge. But she actually had like homing missiles.
どうかな。もしレインが自前の機体で戦っていたら勝てなかったような気もするし。
I put on a wry smile as well. Rain's support unit with all its disruption equipment would have toyed with me and bought her enough time.
ご謙遜を。やはりコウさんと真正面から戦うのは得策ではないようですね。
She smiles as she says that, looking perfectly content. She must really trust and have high expectations of my skills.
それでは戻りましょうか、コウさん。
ああ。ってああ、ちょっと待った。
何でしょうか。
レイン、俺のノーチップにアクセスするとかいうのはやめてくれたんだな。
ええ、もちろん。
そうか、よかった。
そもそもあれは嘘です。最初からそんなことはしていませんよ。
あ、
Our little practice session ends and we log off. If I log off there first and then she was still in that space, she could have actually fucked with me, right? Intense pain shoots through my body when I return to reality, and I collapse onto the bed. How weird is that? There's not a scratch on my body, but I can still feel the dull, throbbing pain of the hits I took in battle.
失礼します、コウさん。
I guess Rain's in the same boat. She groans a little and lies down too.
今日のレッスンはこれでおしまいかい？
お疲れ様でした。
訓練の前に奥の手とか言ってたけど、つまり俺にもマインドハックってのを仕掛ける能力があるってことか。
Oh, okay. I guess we're gonna be mind hacking people?
ええ、術を思い出せばいざという時に奥の手として役立てることができるでしょう。
奥の手か。目の前に立たれたら使えない必殺技だな。
奇襲攻撃は戦いのセオリーの一つですから。
しかしこんな方法で戦闘ができるんなら昔ながらのネット戦は時代遅れになっていそうなもんだけどな。
マインドハックは危険と隣り合わせの戦闘方法です。相手を探知する手間もかかりますし、多用するような代物ではありません。マインドハックをかければ同時に相手に自分のウィークポイントをさらけ出すことになりますから。
I mean, if I have to fight them face to face anyway, it is kind of not really, you know, not really convenient.
勝ち目のない相手に仕掛ければ下手をすれば逆探知を食らう。
だから日常的にマインドハックに怯えて暮らす必要はありませんよ。
Does that mean that they actually do not need me to be, or do not need to be near me to be able to mind hack? Huh, I guess we'll see.
それを聞いてほっとしたよ。
安心してください、コウさん。
She raises her upper body and peers into my face. Her pretty eyes stare at me without blinking. Her blonde locks gently brush my face. What about if there are multiple brain hacks there or mind hacks? Is it really that you know that easy to block if there's multiple people doing so? I don't know. I feel like maybe there's a lot less people that can mind hack than I think. We'll see.
レイン、
私は熟練のサポートです。私がそばにいる限り、コウさんにマインドハックさせるチャンスなど与えません。
She looks so serious that I don't know how to respond. Suddenly, she extends her hand and caresses my cheek. Her soft fingers crawl across my skin, giving me goosebumps. My eyes get drawn to her lips and I...
訓練、本当にお疲れ様でした。これからも頑張ってくださいませ。
ああ。
come back to my senses. I jump off my bed.
さあ、食事にしましょう。と言っても例のものしかありませんけど。
そうするか。
After we finish our meal, Rain gets into business mode.
それで注意、ご報告があります。
なんだ？
この前の情報屋のデータの解析が終わりました。
Yeah, that whatever Eddie guy. She had mentioned that this hotel had safety measures to prevent tapping. Oh, so that's why we had to leave Arc HQ. There, we could have been birds in Arc Industries' cage. It wouldn't be strange if every word we spoke was monitored. But here, whatever Rain says won't be a problem.
例の機関が使っていたアジト、あそこの保護に関与していた可能性のある人物についてのデータです。
これは議員名簿。まさか市議会の誰かがドレクスラー機関に関わっていると。
今までもそうでした。権力は禁断のテクノロジーと結びつきやすい。申し訳ありません。注意はそのあたりの記憶はまだ定かではないのでしたね。
いや、覚えておくよ。それでドイツがそれなんだ。
鈴代市議会の議員をリストアップしてみました。データをそちらへお送りします。市議会議員63名の中でそれなりの力を持つ議員が12名。まずは彼らから調べようと思っています。
Why are their names so long? I'm guessing that's that one line is like their name. Like, what the fuck? Oh, it's also their data. I see like years old too. And probably where they reside. Okay, I see. I was wondering why it was so long. I started going through the 12 names one by one, only to stop at 2 names on the list.
議会で最も力のある2名ですね。彼らは思想も支持基盤も対立するライバルですから。
Rain points at the name Yoshio Anon.
現在の市長です。AI 派の筆頭と言われ、ナノやバイオ関連の企業と太いパイプを持っています。
She then moves on to the next name, Takeshi Yoneuchi.
反 AI 派のタカ派で、ミッドスパイアの保守層の支持が厚く、市に駐留する統合軍とのパイプを有しています。
AI 派と反 AI 派の対立は議会にまで及んでいるんだな。
イデオロギーの面だけではなく、アナンは前自治防衛担当大臣で CDF に強い影響力を持っています。それに対し、米内は外務官僚出身、統合軍の傀儡とも呼ばれています。
I was trying to remember what the C from CDF stands for. Constable, I think, right?
いかにも犬猿の中って感じだな。
CDF と統合軍が立場上対立していますから。
で、この中で例のアジトにつながりがありそうな議員は？
それはこれから調べていかない。
Yeah, of course we don't know, you idiot. She replies with a sigh.
すまないな。頼んだよ、レイン。
お気になさらずに。情報収集は私の得意分野ですから。
とりあえずアークに戻ろうか。あそこは今一応安全な場所のはずだしな。
I feel like we're relying way too much on Rain, man.
はい、注意。
Rain and I leave the hotel and start walking down the path to Arc HQ.
認証しました。アーバルシティへのログインを許可します。
付き合わせて悪いな、レイン。
いいえ、お気になさらないでください。ゴーさんがいなければ私にはアカウントが与えられなかったでしょうから。
She gazes at the peaceful scenery around and smiles.
ねえ、ちゃんと相談に乗ってってば。
Yeah, that's Nano, huh? A familiar voice rings
い
out.
かがされました、ゴーさん。
Oh, sorry about that, Rain.
ちょっと。
Lured by the voice, I head in the direction it came from. And there,
かしこまりました。身の上相談用のエージェントをロードします。
there's a girl chatting with an NPC. She's got her back turned to me, and I can see her tied up hair sway gently.
じゃあ聞くけど、私、如月寮に行くべきなのかな。
Yeah, I'd never mistake this voice.
な。
I try to call out to her, but I don't know what to say. Long time no see? How have you been? Nothing feels right.
行くべきだって分かってる。だって会いたいんだもん。
I guess Aki told her about me.
その前に一つ。お客様はどのようなお楽しみを求めておられますか？
She said Tanoshimi. I thought that was like fun.
お楽しみって。やっぱりあなたに相談しても無駄かも。励ましや慰め、息抜きの娯楽など、さまざまな相談の解決法をご用意しております。どれをお選びしましょう？もういいよ。
The girl turns around and
あ、
A familiar face from right out of my memories opens her eyes wide when she sees me.
なのはだよな。
こうだよね。
I still don't know what to say. Nanoha doesn't say anything either. But when the realization sets in that it really is her, tears start welling up in my eyes. Even though my vision's blurred, I can see my dear childhood friend's face twist into an unnatural expression. She tries to start running to me, but she immediately trips and falls.
おいおい、大丈夫か？
I rush to her side and offer her my hand. She clings to me, crying. What is Rain doing when we're doing this? Does she not want to feel like a, outsider? That's why she's just monitoring us from a couple of distance away? Even online, her body's so warm that it makes me choke up.
なのは。
I pull her closer without thinking and start stroking her hair. She hasn't changed. She's still the same old crybaby.
Ah, ああ、俺も会いたかった。元気だったか、なのは。変わってないな、お前は。
I start crying as well, so I place my chin atop Nanoha's head. I guess she was also wondering what to say when she sees us in Kisaragi dorm. Her hair smells just like it used to, like the scent of sunshine.
本当に久しぶりだね。こう。
ああ、
But despite all the nostalgia, the days I spent with her don't feel all that long ago to me.
なあ、学園を離れた後、俺はナノハとは一度も会っていないのか？
そうだけど。
Of course, she gives me a bewildered response. I try to explain.
本当に記憶をなくしちゃっているんだよ。
But she cuts me off.
知っていたのか？
アキ先輩が教えてくれたの。
そうか。アキ姉からナノハに連絡が行ったのか？そんな心配そうな顔をするなよ。大丈夫。いずれ記憶は戻るだろうからさ。
もちろんだよ。絶対に戻るに決まってるよ。
She tries to encourage me, but her expression clouds over even more. What's up with her? There must be something in my memories that she doesn't want me to remember too then.
あの、
Rain reservedly calls out to us.
ああ、ごめんレイン。つい二人で話し込んじゃって。
こう、その人は
ああ、彼女は。
はじめまして。門倉中尉の部下で霧島レインと申します。
Before I can introduce her, Rain offers Nanoha her hand with a smile.
はじめまして。若草なのかです。
So she never saw Rain before. I mean, Aki never saw Rain before too, so... What? No, she said that she might have seen Rain before. Nanoha looks timidly at Rain and nervously shakes her hand. An awkward silence falls between the two of
どう
them.
したんだ、二人とも。
いえ、別に。こう、とりあえず寮に行かない？
Or maybe they're actually trying to keep it a secret? She seems to be keeping secrets from me.
ああ、そうするか。
We start walking down the path to our old home. Rain walks face first into the front door.
大丈夫か？なんだかすごい音がしたんだけど。
We've been here before, Rain. You should know that this door is not automatic.
ご心配なく。それよりこの扉故障しているのでは？
Wait, what's going on? This is weird.
こ この扉は手動式ってレインは昨日も来ただろ
Yeah.
来た時は扉が開いていましたし。
Oh, I see. I guess I did open the door, okay. That must have really hurt. She's staggering and her eyes are filled with tears. This is so unlike her usual cool demeanor that it makes me burst out laughing.
何がそんなにおかしいのですか？
いやなんとなくごめん笑うつもりは
人の失敗を笑うなど注意らしくありません。
She pouts and turns away, but I can see the tip of her nose is bright red. I shouldn't laugh at her too much. I stifle my voice and glance at Nanoha. And I find her looking at Rain wide-eyed in surprise.
どうしたなのは
ごめん、ちょっと驚いちゃって。
She turns her face away from me and...
びっくりしたな。
yeah, they both know each other. What's going on? It doesn't seem like she's stifling her laughter. That's when the door gets opened from the inside.
誰？
ああきねただいま
I blurt that out without thinking.
あ、おかえり、こう。
And she casually welcomes me back too.
今の物音は？
レインが引き戸に顔をぶつけちゃって
申し訳ありません。ついうっかりしていまして。そう。怪我がなくてよかったけど。
Saying that, she turns her eyes to Nanoha.
こんにちは、アキ先輩。
Huh. She's smiling, but her eyes really are strangely moist.
おかえり、菜の葉。さあ、みんな上がって。
I'm still not sure about what's going on. I'm trying to figure out who Rain is. I'm trying to think whether Rain is actually Ku, but she might not be. She has a physical body, but I mean, just because her model is Ku doesn't mean that she technically needs to be Sora, right, in the real world. So it might still be a possibility that Rain is Ku to some degree. Aki holds Nanoha by the shoulders and invites us inside. It's just like how I said, right, about how if you have the memory or if your brain or your data is stored in a memory chip, as long as the brain is intact, the body can become anything, right? But the person inside is going to be different. So it might technically still be Ku inside of
ちょう
Rain.
どいいところに来たね。こう。
Why is she using an alias of Rain Kirishima, though? She might be masquerading as Rain Kirishima, who is an actual person before, because she said that she was in Hosho. It's probably to make it, you know, not, what's the word? Not strange, right? I guess we'll see. She might be Ku. I have a feeling she might be Ku.
ちょうどいいって
見せたいものがあるの。来て。
She leads us down the hallway and comes to a halt in front of one of the doors.
開けてみて。こう。
うん
I see a desk that's been scribbled on by generations upon generations of residents in old, and old paper books left behind by alumni.
すごい何から何まで記憶通りだ
Overcome by nostalgia, I grab a book from the shelf.
あれ
There's nothing inside, right? When I open it, I see it's filled with blank pages. That's probably because she doesn't know what's inside of those books.
ごめん。その本の中身、マザーのデータじゃ特定できなくて。
そういえば学園生の見たデータから再構成したんだったね
It's not like I'd ever read the books on the shelf either. I put the book away and take a look around. I notice a photo frame on the desk.
あれこんなもの部屋にあったっけ
When I pick it up, it displays a holograph. It's a girl.
これは空のホログラフか
This takes me back, but also confuses me. When was this taken? It shows Sora with a bright smile. Alright, flashback arc
こうさ
time?
ん、
心配しなくていい また頭痛が起きただけだから。
I guess not yet. I fake a smile and look toward the three. Aki's staring at me with her eyes wide open. Nanoha's biting down on her lip, her eyes filled with tears. And when we make eye contact, a tear streams down her face. I guess those two are dead, and they know about it, but we forgot, right?
どうしたナノハ、一体どうして泣いているんだ？
I mean, technically, looking at the flashback before, we kinda already know that she might have been dead. There was a big chance that she was dead. But I guess Ko here didn't want to make any conclusions yet. Her tears keep flowing down her face and hit the floor.
菜の葉とお話ししてあげて。
ああ、もちろんだ。ナノハ、表で話をするか。
When I offer her my hand, she grips it so tight it hurts.
じゃあ、アキネ、レイン、俺たちちょっと外に行ってるから。
ごゆっくり。レインは私とお話ししてくれる？ええ、もちろんです。ごめんね。今日の私、泣きっぱなしで。
If Rain is cool, I'm considering the fact that Rain might be cool. That means that she's actually like fully developed and she's doing stuff that not even Aki, her creator, is like you know, she doesn't know the fact that Ku's doing anything right here.
気にするな。仕方がないよ。
Of course, my premise, the fact that Rain is Ku might be completely mistaken, but it just feels right in my head, you know? She can't do anything about it, I'm sure. I've lost my memories, and even then I can barely handle being in the reproduced dorm. It must be so much worse for her.
とにかく、菜の葉に再会できて、本当に嬉しいよ。
I'm getting hungry, by the way. I guess this is what happens when I don't eat. I mean, I was eating a lot for breakfast, but I guess it's about time I eat soon. I gently stroke her hair.
私も、もう二度とこうに会えないって覚悟してたから。
Was I really that vengeful when I wanted to find the Drexler Institute guys? After the Great Christmas? She looks at me all teary-eyed, which makes my heart skip a beat. Her facial features don't appear to have changed much, but she does have a more mature aura about her now.
なあ、聞くけどさ、俺ってやっぱり菜の葉に対しても何も連絡を取らなかったのか？
わからない。多分、こうが連絡を取ろうとしても難しかったと思うから。
Why is that?
難しかったって？
私、いろいろあって住所を転々としてたから、アドレスもしょっちゅう変えてて、だから電話もできなくて。
But you come here quite frequently, don't you? I could still... I guess I wouldn't know because I caught contact with Aki. She fumbles for words like she's about to say something that's hard to talk about.
こうは自分自身が今まで何をしてたか覚えていないんだよね。
まあね。
その服、軍服みたいだけど、もしかしてずっと軍人さんだったの？
I try to respond in the affirmative, but it's hard for me to tell her I became a soldier when I'd repeatedly sworn it'd be the last thing I'd do. And I definitely can't tell her that I'm a mercenary now and in real trouble as we speak.
ごめん。言いづらかったら言わなくていいよ。
いや、俺こそごめんな。
いいよ。それは多分お互い様だから。
What, you can't tell me something? I guess you'd rather not tell me what's going on in her life right now either. We may not seem all that different at a glance, but everything has changed for us.
変だよね。私たちで言えないことがあるなんて。
そうだな。本当に変だよな。
なんか寂しいね。
ああ、本当に寂しいよな。
I mean, when things change, it's not always a sad thing, but
ごめんね、こう。久しぶりに会ったのに暗い顔ばかりしていて。
それを言うなら俺の方こそ。なあ、せっかくだから明るい話題でも探してみないか？
そうだね。だったら、
she places a finger on her chin and tries to pick a topic. I bet it'll be something from our past. We spent tons and tons of time together after all.
ねえ、あのレインさんってゴーの彼女さんなの？
そうきたか。アキ姉にも言ったけど、レインは別に恋人とかじゃなくて単なる部下で。
そっかな。なんとなく単なる部下と上司には見えないんだけど。
気のせいだよ。第一、菜の葉はろくにレインと話もしてないだろ。
でもアキ先輩に聞いたよ。まるで海外しい新妻みたいに一緒に寝るのを喜んでたって。
たく、アキ姉までなんだかな。
Sorry about that, Ko. I smile despite grumbling. Nanoha does the same, and the tension in the air gets replaced by a gentle, peaceful mood.
ああ、でもなんか懐かしい。こういうのデジャビュっていうのかな。忘れちゃった。私の入学式の後、やっぱりこんな話をしてたんだよ。
Alright, cue flashback. Nanoha smiles fondly, which reminds me of that one evening scene behind the dorm.
そうだった。確かにそんなこともあったよな。
Yeah, Nanoha was sitting here pouting back then.
なんだか本当に懐かしいな。
With the blue sky behind her, she thinks back with a smile.
今にして思えば、きっと私、千夏先輩たちに嫉妬してたんだね。
Wait, what? It was already it already happened in the flashback?
私、コウと暮らすことにいろいろ夢を見ちゃってたから。だけど、今なら本気で言えるよ。コウが誰かと結ばれて幸せになれるのを祈ってる。
ああ、ありがとう、菜の葉。
I thank her, but what she said makes me sad. Because it feels like it signaled the end of the relationship we've always shared. But
私も誰か幸せになれる人を見つけなくちゃ。だよね。
I mean, you don't have to. As I said multiple times in other playthroughs, you know, if you don't find someone, you can kind of just be happy alone.
頑張れ。菜の葉ならきっと見つかるよ。
Yeah, right, Ko. There's no perfect someone.
ありがとう、コウ。
I want to know what happened at the end of the days we spent together in the dorm. But I want to move forward and not be haunted by the past. I feel that desire grows stronger than ever within me.
コウさん。
Rain shows up at the front door. Looks like she ran out.
どうしたんだ、レイン。アキネートの話は終わったのか？
Something going on?
それが
私が取り継いでもらったのだ。門倉注意。
ノイ先生。
現在、私宛ての電話をコウさんに中継しています。
まったく、君はまだ治療中の身の上なんだぞ。どうしてちゃんと私のところに来ないんだ？
I mean, you've already done what you need to do with me, right? Do I really still need to be monitored?
あっと、すみませんでした。
I mean, I guess it is rude for the person who treated me.
連絡もせず勝手にあちらこちらへと。自分でも少しだらしないと思わないか？
While she's scolding me, she provocatively shows off her inner thighs to me. What?
ああ、そうですね。だらしないと思います。
I still don't really get this woman.
とにかく今日は診察に来ること。わかったな、注意。
いや
What's with the ya? We're not German. With that, Noi hangs up. I actually thought Rain was German because she was saying ya before.
コウ、電話って？
主治医の先生からお叱りのコールで。
そうなんだ。じゃあ、今日はもう帰っちゃうんだね。
またここに遊びに来るよ。菜の葉もまた来るんだろ？
じゃあ、明日もここに来てくれる？
Not sure.
ああ、 約束するよ。明日はもっといろんなことを話そうな。
Nanoha sees us off with a smile as we leave Kisaragi dorm. I feel like it's a bit presumptuous of you to say we're gonna be coming back here tomorrow, right?
急ぎましょう。
Ko.
先生がお待ちかねです。
そうだな。あの人を待たせるのはゾッとしない。
We leave ARC HQ in a hurry and walk down the streets in the slum district. The afternoon air is stale, and the area may as well be devoid of all color. Visiting this place immediately after leaving the bright and colorful Arval city makes it really clear how seedy the area is. Seedy? What does seedy mean in this case?
レイン、アキネート何の話をしていたんだ？
コウさんの過去から現状についてあれこれと尋ねられました。
そうか。
ご心配なく、アキさんを不安にさせるようなことは何も話しませんでしたから。
ありがとう。いつもすまないな。
どういたしまして。私もコウさんの大切な人たちに余計な心配をさせたくありませんから。ただ、あの方の情報検索力は私以上です。本気になればいろいろと知られてしまうのは間違いありません。
意外と知ってて知らないふりをしてくれているのかもな。
A pain runs through my chest. Suddenly, we hear a lively melody coming from one of the streets nearby. It sticks out like a sore thumb in these dour surroundings.
なんか聞き覚えのある曲だな。
統合の古い軍歌です。今では特定の政治団体が好んで集会で使うようですが。
じゃあ、もしかして。
ええ、政治集会が開かれているようですね。参加者の中には米内議員が含まれています。
Alright, can we take a look at this Yoniuchi guy? Counselor Yoniuchi, one of the two names that were on top of Rain's list.
様子を見てみますか？
ああ、もちろん。
It's the puppet for GU, right? We run down the street with the song echoing all around us. Okay, he doesn't even have eyes, so he's probably gonna die pretty soon. There's a crowd hanging around one corner of the street. Before them stands a man waving his arms around as he delivers a speech. He addresses the crowd passionately. I can see a bunch of other counselors standing behind him. And they are surrounded by several bodyguards. They're fully armed and cautiously scanning the crowd.
なのはいいけれど、わざわざこんなところで演説か。
おそらく難民へのアピールでしょう。反 AI 派の支持層をミッドスパイア外部に広げようと。
そういえば、反 AI 派の支持基盤はミッドスパイアの保守層だったな。
衣食住、さらには人と人の関係に至るまで、その喜びを仮想現実に求め、現実はみすぼらしい現状で良しとする。
I mean, I kind of agree with that way of thinking. About, we shouldn't really do that.
このような逃避的な生き方を続ける限り、この荒れ果てた地球を立て直すことなどできません。
But I feel like this is propaganda to make us, join him instead of being the truth, right? Cheers and boos ring out at the same time, neither side overpowering the other.
まあ、言ってることに正しい一面もあるのかもしれないな。
The rich and wealthy in Midspire must be living free of the AI shackles, happily taking in their reproduced natural surroundings. However,
しかし、こんな貧民街で仮想を捨てて現実に生きろなんて伝えるのも酷な気がする。
I guess that's true.
灰色のクリスマスで発生した大量の難民は、ここ鈴代市にも数多く流れ込んできています。そして難民はナノアレルギーの傾向が強いです。おそらくはそこをついて共感を得ようとしているのでしょう。
まさしく現代版のラダイト主義者だな。
What's a Luddite?
残念なことに、我がシティ議会は現実軽視主義者エイリアニストに牛耳られてしまっているのが現状なのです。彼らは現実を軽視するがゆえに現実に無責任である。例えばナノ物質の危険性にも便利だからいいではないかと耳を塞ぎ、彼らはあのドレクスラー機関研究所の教訓、制御不能のテクノロジーがもたらした大惨事から 何ら教訓を学んでいないのです。かような無責任な指導者が市議会を掌握している限り、貧困にあえぐ難民の皆さんに救済はありえません。
This time, there are more cheers than boos. The man's voice grows even more passionate.
彼らは言うでしょう。パンが食べられなければ仮想で水菓子を食え。そして現実の肉体は粗末な代用食品で維持せよと。だが我々が生きるべき世界は現実。我々は一時的な貧しさを恐れずに AI 依存症となった世界の主導権を人間の手に取り戻さねばなりません。
Loud cheers ring out, and the man smiles and waves from his podium. But we second gens can see right through him. He's urging people to throw away the internet as a member of the anti-AI brigade, but
なんだかんだ言ってあの男も電脳を強化しているみたいだな。
one look at his eyes reveals that he's checking the data projected in his vision. He's probably reading a copy of his speech while checking the data his staff are sending him about the crowd response.
しかし俺たちセカンドならあんなおもちゃを用意しなくても心でささやくだけでアクセスできるんだよな。
Counselor Yoniuchi is holding a portable controller in his hand.
関わった情報量で人間の能力が推し量られてしまうこの時代にあれでは旧世代の人間は大変ですね。
Even as he waves to the crowd with one hand, the other's constantly using that wired controller, which is connected to the neurojack on his arm. I get irritated with just watching him, and at the same time, I feel ever so grateful to the second-gen functions that I've been using without any real thought.
もっとも彼らは意地になって一致を拒絶しているだけにも見えますが
Rain's lips curve slightly upward.
レインも AI 派なんだ。
その傾向はあると思いますが反 AI 派の愚劣さをよく知っているわけです。私はそんな環境で育ちましたから。
Man, maybe Rain is not cool, dude. I guess we'll see. Oh yeah, I don't know what my fixation about trying to make Rain into Ku is, but I kind of just want to think that, I guess. She went to Hoshu Academy, the educational stronghold of the anti-AI faction. Why did her dad force her to go there?
私は議会に救うエイリアニストたち。彼らの重要なスキャンダルを握っております。
He suddenly drops a bombshell, and the crowd goes deathly quiet. He's exposing a scandal here of all places. As the shocked crowd watches on, he flashes a proud smile.
このスキャンダル、彼らは隠蔽できないでしょう。彼らこと、アナン市長に司法の手が及ぶのもさほど遠く。
The speech abruptly stops there. The audience silently awaits his next word, but he remains silent for some strange reason. 5 seconds. 10. The counselor is simply staring blankly at the sky. Is he mind-hacked? Rain closes her eyes to check something, and the very next moment, the counselor starts wailing on the podium.
やめろ、やめてくれ。あ、俺の頭をいじるんじゃ。
He starts scratching his head like he's gone insane. He staggers a few steps forward, squirming the entire time.
誰か、助けてくれ。
So yeah, I guess they don't need to be in his vicinity to mind hack him. I still need to understand just how difficult it is to mind hack. Are non-second gens very viable for mind hacks then? The counselor collapses on stage and the crowd breaks out into loud screams and roars.
なんだ
I can see a tiny bit of smoke rising from his arm.
マインドハック。何者かが米内議員の脳チップを破壊したようです。
マインドハックだと暗殺か
As though to prove Rain right, the counselors on stage start collapsing one after another. Unable to do anything, the bodyguards around them can only run around like headless chickens and stare at their subjects die.
エリアニストが議員をやりやがった。
A voice screams out.
連中が潜んでるに違いねえ。
He might also be used by people in the anti-AI faction. and, you know, being used as a sacrifice to instill provocation here.
気をつけてみんなトーンチップを焼かれちゃうわよ
I feel like those three dialogue from the crowd are a bit too quick, you know, to know what's going on. Baseless speculations start springing up and spreading like wildfire. The mood of the crowd changes instantly. Scuffles break out all over the place, and the bodyguards angrily take aim with their guns.
行きましょうここは危険です
We run through the crowd and head toward a back alley.
注意ここに隠れましょう
Rain suddenly grabs me by the arm and drags me into a tiny space. The two of us go silent with our bodies glued to one another. Warning shots are fired in the distance, and the roar of the crowd grows even louder.
暴動が始まったようです
From up close, I see Rain's face covered in cold sweat. Anyway, we can't just sit here and wait for things to die down. We need to analyze the situation and figure out our next move.
レイン今の件をどう思う
その答えは仕掛けた本人に聞くのが早いでしょう
Ooh! It seems to me like she's suggesting something with her eyes.
そいつはまだネットに潜んでいるのか
逃走しましたがエリア侵入の痕跡から逆探知をかけましたかろうじてまだトレースできています
CDF が仕事をしてくれてるなら一帯にはまだアンカーがかかってるはずだ捕まえるなら今ってことだな
Is it really that easy to do this? Even though we're not the one that's being mind hacked? I'm so confused about, you know, the whole access point things. This assassination might not necessarily have anything to do with our case. But what if Kansar Yoniuchi was killed by the same people who took out Eddie? It's worth checking out.
戦いますか
ああやってみる
Sorry about that, Rain.
わかりました気をつけてください注意
She put both hands on my cheeks and looks me directly in the
リ
eye.
アルボディは私が守ります無理をせず必ず戻ってきてください
ああ任せろレインこそボートに巻き込まれるんじゃないぞ
いや
I guess she's giving us the areas. Plug-in health block option +2 blocks obtained. Melee canceling, firearm canceling. So yeah, there are animation cancel in this game, just like a typical fighting game. Missile launcher can be developed. I was wondering why my controller wasn't working because I was going left and right, but turns out I was on the dive. Let me take a look at the tutorials before we dive here. Should you connect with an attack that requires physical contact, you can force it to end immediately by unleashing another attack the moment it connects. This is called an attack cancel. In doing so, you can unleash a number of punishing blows one after the other. Think of it as another way to do a combo. I mean, I've basically been doing that for the most part. Should the attack not connect, however, you won't be able to perform the cancel, leaving you open to a counter. Be sure that your hits connect when attempting this. Canceling attacks involving firearms differs from those that require physical contact. They can be cancelled into another attack the moment you fire. Interesting. In the case of attacks that fire repeatedly, well, the quicker you cancel, the fewer shots fired. As such, planning out the most effective time to cancel will yield better results. Okay. That's easy enough to understand. But yeah, as for the melee one, I've been kind of doing that, like without knowing about it. I mean, they did say if you want a combo, do it in a rhythm, right? So it makes sense for me to do it when the attack first connects.
レイン誘導を頼む
先方の方からこちらに向かってきていますどうやらトレースに感づかれたようです
そりゃ話が早いや
来ました
Wait, those are just typical viruses.
確認したこれから排除する
Those aren't even simulacrums.
はっへい見避けロックオーバーヒートロックはっへい一撃破
Oh my god, it's so... Ugh. I got stuck. Yeah, these guys are definitely getting more damage on me. Wait, maybe not? I thought they were, but I actually took 0 damage. There must be like a healing that I did, right? Because I swear I took damage there.
前期破壊。
こいつらは雑魚。ただの時間稼ぎか。まだ本命のトレースはできているか。
もちろん今アドレスを送ります。金一帯にはアンカー展開なし。敵部隊は別の階層にいます。
Immediately after that, I received the enemy's address. So can everyone just use viruses?
よし、追いついたぞ。
Okay, there's 3
注意
simulacrums
して
there.
ください。敵が再びムーブしようとしています。
Is there gonna be a time limit? Oh, there's only one.
ているそばから。こいつらに構っている暇はない。すぐに転送先教えてくれ。逃げた連中を追いかける。
ダメです。交戦中の敵の中に新たなアンカーを展開した機体がいます。
なら前期破壊すればいいんだろ。はっ。へい。はっ。へい。切り裂け。捕らえた。
Okay, I feel like it's actually kind of dangerous for me to go melee on that guy. That's why I've been kind of using my handgun quite a bit. And also that. Wait, did that guy die? I guess it died. How did that guy die? I wasn't even aiming for him. So far, the only like non-melee attack that I dislike is the grenade. The grenade kind of sucks since I don't actually know where it's gonna explode, and you know, even if I know where it's gonna explode, the enemies will be locking on me and they're gonna try to come closer to me, right?
よし、早速飛ぶぞ。アドレスを頼む。
Maybe I can just like keep canceling my X and circle button, which is just the handgun and the spread.
Yeah.
I find myself in Anonymous City once again.
こんなところに逃げ込みやがったのか。
Where is Anonymous City? Have we been here?
ゴンさん、気をつけてください。一機だけタイプ不明のカスタヌキがいます。
Oh, it's that one with the 2 arms. I guess everyone's technically with 2 arms.
言ってるそばから逃げやがったか。
Sorry about that. I thought I was instantly in battle mode. That's why I was using my controller there.
あの機体の主は暗殺の実行犯に違いありません。
だったらこいつらを排除してあいつを捕獲する。
Is everyone else just like a bodyguard then?
どうした？そっちで何か起こったのか？
気にしないでください。今は完全に敵に集中して。
Yeah, the reason why I like that one is because it's actually AoE.
今すぐこいつらを片付けて戻るからな。
But yeah, I can't actually keep comboing X and circle.
それミスト。はっ、へい、切り裂け。早くしてくれ。
Okay, that thing's dead.
へい、切り裂け。それ。 はっ、切り裂け。
Why is this guy so tanky?
へい、やった。
I guess, yeah, I do heal up some HP there if I defeat some of them. Even though I did not get the plug-in to heal up by destroying enemies. I guess there's like a heal orb somewhere that I got.
レイン、大丈夫か？
申し訳ありませんがサポートを中断します。なるべく早くログアウトしてください。
わかった、待ってろ。今すぐそっちに向かうから。
Oh, sorry about that, Ko. What is happening to her? Just when I begin to log out, that custom unit shows up again.
こんな時にどういうつもりだ？
I get him in my crosshairs.
まさかと思っている。
Gilberto. Okay, that's him from the Hosho Academy guy. The genetical, you know, modified human. I hear a familiar voice and a face window opens up in my vision. It displays an almost unnaturally immaculate Caucasian face. I recognize this face. It's the guy who ruined my first date with Chinatsu, and I think that wasn't all. I think back to when I learned his name. It was during our qualifiers for Newbie's Impact. Are you serious? We're getting a flashback right now? Yo!
久しぶりだな。
This flashback.
青春のクズが出ているとは聞いていたが、貴様らだった。
お前はあの時のチンピラ学生。
おいおい、お前ら反 AI 派なんだろ。なんでこんな大会に出場してるんだよ。
我々遺伝的エリートはいかなる状況でも劣等人種に対し優越であることを証明せねばならん。
それで
よって貴様らの得意分野であるこの低俗かつ悪趣味なゲームで勝利し。
Okay, I actually like this flashback. Like I said, if the flashback instantly goes to what we're looking for, I like that. The reason why I dislike the previous, like, you know, couple of episode back flashbacks is because there were lots of filler, right? Because they were introducing characters and then after that there was like some daily life before we actually get to the point, right? But this one goes straight to the point. I like it.
貴様らのなけなしの誇りを踏みにじっているというわけだ。わかった。
He would then resort to cheap tricks to split our team up. So he won against us.
千夏どうした。
女のことなど心配してる場合じゃないぞ。
大丈夫。私はまだ戦えるから。
Despite being split up, we somehow held out and drove the guys from Hoshu into a corner. But did we win or lose?
これで残るはお前だけだ。
我々の才をもってしてもやはりゲスのゲームではゲスには勝てぬ。
Okay, we might have won, but maybe we lost Shinatsu?
どうせ卑怯な AI がお前らに有利なようにひいきしているに違いない。
言いたいことはそれだけか。こいつの扱いは才能だけじゃどうしようもないぜ。努力もせずに策を浪するやつに負けるかよ。肝心の才能も俺に分があるみたいだ。
I may sound confident, but as much as I hate to admit it, I'm kind of overawed right now. These guys are anti-AI. They're probably not used to piloting simulacrums. But they defeated other participants and nearly took out Chinatsu too. Okay, Chinatsu didn't even die. So this is what designer children are capable of.
だが哀れだな。お前が人に誇れる唯一の才能をこれから俺に踏みにじられてしまうのだからな。
What is he gonna do? He brought out viruses after our one-on-one duel.
ウイルスだと？てめえ。
Why? Where is the security?
クズに天誅を下すためなら手段や手法などどうでもいいのだ。
警告です。
Thank you.
その行為は本大会のレギュレーションに違反しております。
エイリアニストの大会での優勝などこちらから願い下げだ。
You know, that's actually true. They really should have just, you know, like either disqualified him or not even put him in the tournament. The audience boos, but nobody tries to stop him. It may be against the rules, but it's not like anyone's gonna die from it. And for the audience, any surprises like these are always welcome. Wow, fuck! Wow! Fuck these people, bro. So we get pounded on, unable to resist. And just when I'm about to give in, the guy's viruses surrounding us explode. I look up at where Chinatsu's staring. Okay, that's Naoki. That's
先生。
受け取れ、コウ君。
this simulacrum throws something shiny at me. I was wondering, like, what the fuck? What are the guards doing? He's not even part of the guards, right? Like, Naoki is not part of the staff that's governing this tournament. Wow, fuck the guards, man. Which sticks into the ground right in front of me. It's a sword.
気をつけて。やつが浮き上がってきたよ。
I turn around to see the guy from Hosho get back on his feet and take aim at his creepy weapon.
2匹まとめて血祭りにしてくれる。
お前の相手は俺一人で十分だ。
I place a hand on the sword. The moment I grab its hilt, a program streams into me. The correct way to cut up a simulacrum gets uploaded into my brain.
一気に切り裂きたまえ。赤い衝動に駆られた輩は放水のあまり隙が生じる。オーバーヒートを見極め、その隙を突くのだ。
So he's telling me to attack when his overheat gauge fills up, huh? With one eye on my sensors, I point my crosshairs on my opponent.
さあ、行け。
I need a plugin for that. I need a plugin for that.
バカな。旧人類に俺が負けるなどありえない。
I think it's probably a good idea for me to take a look at the heat gauge for units that I'm fighting, yeah.
ありえるんだよ。残念だったな。
間違いだ。優勢種の俺が負けるはずなどない。そうだ。これはインチキに決まっている。
I mean, technically we did because we, you know, the way for us to fight was uploaded into our brain.
卑劣な劣等種め、恥を知れ。
Just how messed up is this guy? But you also cheated though by bringing out the viruses and shit.
そうとも。これはインチキ、八百長、デキレース。もう少しで AI の罠にはまるところだった。
素直に認めろよ。自分の実力のなさを。
きっとリミッターが貴様らに有利なように働き、我々の動きを阻害しているのだな。なんとも卑怯なことよ。
そんなわけないだろう。いい加減にしてくれ。王将ではどんな教育をしているのか見てみたくなってきたぜ。
ああ、いずれ見るがいい。貴様らエイリアニストに目に物見せてくれるわ。
The Hosho student turns around and then calls out to me again, his voice tinged with hatred. Yeah, so the fact that he was the one that killed the guy who was clearly doing a speech for anti-AI means that it was a ploy, right? To make the crowd think that it was the alienist who did the assassination.
貴様、名乗れ。
何？
貴様のようなゲスの名前を記憶しておいてやると言っているんだ。光栄に思え。
面倒だな。そのくらい参加者名簿にアクセスして自分で調べろよ。
While I say that, I look up his name too.
門倉光。偽名じゃないだろ。
本名だ。お前こそどうなんだ？王将のジルベルト。
誇りある我が名を偽るものか。だが覚えてぜ。門倉光。
Force crash. Use a force crash by pressing the A plus B buttons at the same time. What the heck is a force crash? Oh yeah, actually, I've been forget to dash or whatever you call it when you try to dash towards the opponent. Whatever button it was supposed to be, I forgot to use that. Personal unit main gauge option. Force crash gauge obtain. Enemy unit main gauges, okay. Force crash gauge, ally unit, blah blah blah. Enemy unit sub gauges. Resonance blade. What is this? Force crash gauge and force crash. Is that my alt?
王将のジルベルト。お前生きていたのか。
The reappearance of an asshole from my past leaves me stupefied. Yeah, see? Flashbacks like that, I'm okay. It goes straight to the point. We learned his name and that was it. Back to the present. I love this. The previous couple of first episodes, oh my goodness, those were kind of roundabout. But this is okay.
それはこっちのセリフだ。貴様こそなぜ生きている。
どうやらお互い灰色のクリスマスで息絶えていたと思い込んでいたようだな。
何を言っている。この抜け作が施設の爆破からどうやって逃れたかと聞いているのだ。
Yeah, this idiot. He clearly was one of the guys who did that. Huh? What does he mean, factory explosion? Wait, is it talking about the explosion that made me lose my memories?
おい、どうした。 頭を打って安物の脳内チップが故障でもしたのか。どうやらそう爆発の衝撃で頭の位置が緩む。まあいい、貴様が生きていたある意味幸いだ。あっさり死なれては俺の鬱憤は晴らす。時間をかけてゆっくりと。あのメス犬もお前が俺にひれ伏す様を目の当たりにすれば目も覚めるだろうさ。
Rain?
何年経ってもその歪んだ性格は治っていないみたいだな。
Anyway, I should capture him alive. If I could trim him down to his avatar, I'll have plenty of ways to get the information I want out of him.
女装しろ。降伏すれば命だけは助けてやる。
貴様、誰に物を言う。なぜ貴様ごときウジ虫に人であるこの俺様が降伏せねばならんのだ。
やり口も昔と変わっていないな。
True.
なんとでも言う。だがあいにく時間切れだ。野犬の遠吠えを聞いている暇はない。
Yeah, I guess he's gonna be running away.
次に会った時、
Damn shame.
その思い出ごと丁重に葬る。ありがたく思う。
I mean, I guess we can't, get the bad guy that quickly, right?
待て、逃がすかよ。
You can't just like get the bad guy after the first introduction.
邪魔をするな。
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't expect to get instantly, like get into a fight. That was unexpected.
へい、切り裂け。ほら。はっ、へい、切り裂け。
Yeah, that grenade, I really need to change that into something else. It's so useless.
へい、やった。それ。
It's very useless.
へい、どうした。へい、どうした。ほら。はっと。
Okay, this one's new.
へい。それ。はっ。オーバーヒート。切り裂け。
Okay, he was doing the thing alongside me. That was kind of nice, cool.
へい、切り裂け。
Okay, that should be it. I gotta get rid of that stupid hand grenade. It's so bad, guys. What is that heat max? Heat -1. What does that mean? By the time I finish, Gilbert's nowhere to be seen.
ご無事ですか？注意。
I think we need to go back, Go.
ああ、俺はなんとか。それよりレイン、そっちで何が起きているんだ。
至急ログアウトしてください。早く。
She's been kind of saying that for the past 10 minutes, Go. But I guess we were curious about Gilbert. The first thing I feel when I return to reality is the cold sensation of concrete below my body. When I open my eyes, I get an eyeful of legs and boots. A red droplet falls to the ground beside them.
お帰りなさいませ。注意。
I look up in the direction of the pained voice and see Rain bleeding from the forehead. She's got a gun in her hands and she's pointing it at the entrance to the alley. I think she needs some backup, Ko. Riders have gathered there and they're giving us hostile glares. You have a gun!
レイン、これは。
見ての通り囲まれてしまいました。
She replies in a stiff voice. The riders aren't coming any closer. Maybe they're afraid of getting shot. But they are throwing rocks at us.
このエイリアニストめ。
Bro, fuck them up. She lets out a groan. Did she protect me from the rocks the entire time I spent diving?
こいつら。
Anger and panic take over my mind, and I draw my gun without thinking. Thank you, Ko.
撃ってはいけません。撃てば一気に襲ってくるかもしれません。
God damn it! But it might also be, it might also show them the fact that we have power,
しかし、このままじゃ。
焦らないでください。コンクラブをしながら脱出のチャンスを見計らわないと。
I walk up next to her and point my gun at the crowd too. I mean, to be honest, I can understand the fact that Rain wasn't shooting them if she was alone, but the fact that we have two people now, I feel like we can take them on. It's in an alley, right? They're gonna die if they all swarm into the alleyway because it's basically a straight line to a shot, you know? The tension in the air makes my throat go dry and I feel like I'm gonna choke. The sweat dripping down my brow stings my eyes and nearly makes me fire. I feel like my thoughts make sense. Suddenly, the roar of a VTOL aircraft reverberates in the air.
CDF より警告します。直ちに解散し、この場を立ち去りなさい。下にのナンバー員は出力更新に伝えます。
The riders all look up at the sky at once. There are a bunch of CDF's air raid units up there.
あれは私たちの同僚です。直ちに退去せねば全員逮捕いたします。
Rain yells out with a dignified voice. One by one, the riders ran away from the entrance to the alley. I would have fucking shot them all. I mean, depends on how many like bullets I have, I guess. Depends on the ammo. But even then, like, let's say that's a revolver, right? We have 6 shots. In a straight line, I feel like we can definitely get a headshot, no problem. With her, there's gonna be 12 shots. If there's like 12 people outside of this alley, I think, you know, we could have won. That's my logic anyway. And the street on the other side has fallen silent after the VTOL passed through.
なんとかごまかせたみたいだな。
とにかく今は急いで立ち去りましょう。
Rain and I run down the now empty slums as fast as we can. Okay. That was actually 2 chapters. That was a pretty damn fast one. Okay, I think I'm actually going to end the episode right here. Okay, things are getting pretty quick in terms of the pacing, guys. I'm liking that. I guess the first couple of chapters with the flashbacks and stuff, it was mostly to, you know, give us some world building, introducing the characters. I knew what they were trying to do, but it was kind of a bit too long, is what I was trying to say. But I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this a lot more. The fact that they're going full throttle with the story and pacing, it's more my kind of style, you know. I kind of dislike it when we're just being shown like nothing going on. that's always how I feel whenever I like read something, you know. I kind of dislike just the mundane and everyday life, unless that mundane and everyday life itself is part of the story somehow, which clearly this game isn't about, right? But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. Though don't worry, there's nothing really uncensored right now, but we won't know until when we're gonna be getting the 8 scenes. YouTube members will also be getting these early access, but nothing uncensored. Also, for people on YouTube that aren't on Patreon just yet, feel free to become a free member because that's gonna be where I put first episode previews of future playthroughs. Okay, I'm gonna go get some food, guys. Ooh. See ya.